Hello, everybody, and welcome to Remember the Hyphen. I am your host and master of ceremonies, Average Joe Squad.
I love how you keep doing the Halloween ones before me. It's interesting. I'm so get to 134.
And I am, Undead Fred 94.
I like how you got a different,
Yeah.
I'm just Riley.
I'm just Riley.
I'm not doing that.
So,
I'm still waiting for him to make that vlog channel.
I'm just Riley 94.
And welcome back again to the month of Terrar, which I stole from Catechris, but I love doing that joke.
Boy.
So our last one we talked about what we think makes good horror movies, and I think we did bring this one up. But I figured, it's Halloween and we can easily watch this on YouTube. Let's talk about the grandfather of all zombie movies, Night of the Living Dead. The original one, not the
I thought we were doing
remake.
Shaun of the Dead. I'm out.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
No, Doug, you're thinking of Shaun the Sheep. We're going to watch that next year.
What was that?
Have you ever heard of Shaun the Sheep? I'll talk about it later. It's a claymation thing.
Okay.
I've never hit a kid before.
Oh, is this the guys who did Wallace and Gromit?
Yeah.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
So we originally were planning to do this as like a commentary track, but unfortunately the way we film is kind of not indicative of it.
I would like at some point if we could sit down and just do an audio and then I could kind of sync it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I still feel like it would be a complete pain in the ass to
and we don't have
edit.
puppets to, help comment with us.
Well, it's just like I don't have any idea A, how I'd edit it, and then B, how I'd get it on the iPad to upload at work.
Well, to be fair, Rift Track is not super hard to do because basically
That movie's not very long.
Well, here's
either.
the thing. Hey, Colin. The thing is, I did try to do a Let's Play thing. We could maybe like if we ever get to like maybe one of our houses or whatever, we can do
when
a
I
laptop.
move, we'll have to try and see if we
Yeah,
can
just use the
that,
laptop or
'cause
computer.
I'm fine with it. I'm
No.
willing to try it because we just got to find a way that I can do it and it won't be a pain in the ass for me to edit.
Because then you don't have to, you can just do it all in one.
Well, that-
track.
Even if it's Movie Maker and I just drop it on top of an MP4 of the movie.
With commentary tracks, what you do is you tell people like, we're watching this movie, so how we'll send you to a link that maybe we'll send you to the movie, maybe it won't.
Well, given that this is public domain, I figured we could
public
just
domain.
sync it. And
We
I could probably just
public
get away with uploading it. I know James has the whole thing.
Yeah, but anyway, this is a conversation for a different time. We're talking about Night of the Living Dead. This movie is actually kind of prevalent to us because we all live in Pennsylvania, and both this and its sequel, Dawn of the Dead, were filmed in Pittsburgh. And
Pennsylvania represent.
Yeah.
Okay, for once, you guys have pride now.
I'm always happy to be a Pennsylvanian.
I know you made some comments about maybe the weather, but
Look, man, we only have like 3 movies for Pennsylvania.
We gotta be
this,
proud
The
of
Blob, and Rocky.
We gotta be proud.
hey, don't forget sunny Philadelphia. That's a great representation of
Oh, what next, Doug? You gonna talk about Dark Knight Rises and how they blew up Heinz Field?
I'm going to blow up Heinz Field.
I'm going to blow up Gotham Stadium.
They think, I thought you said
He's a Gotham
No,
Stadium.
because they bring up the Steelers.
They brought up the
yeah.
Steelers have beaten Gotham's team like a bunch of times. It's
Okay.
fucking hysterical.
Which, I mean, to be fair, the Gotham Knights aren't really that great of a football team in universe. But
Anyway, back on track.
But yeah, this movie, because fun fact, the cemetery and the mall that Dawn and Night were filmed in do still exist, and I think people have visited.
James has done he's done tours of the cemetery, which obviously a lot of those gravestones are still standing. They were they were able to find the right ones, and to kind of match up with the shots. The Dawn of the Dead mall has been remodeled quite a few times, so it looks barely anything like the one in the movie.
Yeah,
like a lot of the landmarks in the movie, like the huge like glass tower and shit.
Yeah.
That stuff's all gone.
Yeah, which is a shame, but like, I mean, to be fair, it would still be cool to go there.
Yeah, just to be like, we're in the Dawn.
Because like, I'd also like to go to Phoenix, Pennsylvania, where they shot The Blob, because apparently like that gas station still exists.
Well, that town's intensely proud of that.
Yeah, no, that town. I mean, yeah, because it's like
Go
the
to
only thing
Blobfest.
Yeah, because that's the only thing that they have going for them. But, and so like I it's the grandfather of all zombie films, and probably some point I'd love for us to review that movie I had, The Astro Zombies, which came out the same year.
Oh,
God. It's you two haven't seen it, but
You loaned me the DVD.
I never seen it.
I know, but
I've watched it yet.
But it's really bad. But so
imagine a universe where that became the more popular one.
No, that's exactly it, actually. But so going into this, I knew what to expect, but I'd kind of forgotten how well this movie holds up. It is a surprisingly good,
same here,
good
yeah.
watch.
A lot of times you hear about movies lapsing into public domain, and it's like they're usually just movies that are just like really shitty, or just have like a lot of rights issues. This is one that when I found out this was public domain, I was really surprised by it.
Yeah, like I was kind of surprised Romero would let it.
Yeah,
because like it's like he's the whole reason he is the father of
I'm
zombie
sure there was a reason why that happened, and I'm sure it was a lot of legal mumbo jumbo.
maybe he didn't have like legal rights exclusively, like maybe the studio did. So
well, I'm sure the studio didn't expect this to be as big a hit, not only like financially as well as just culturally that it did become. And then once that happened, I'm sure they were like, we're not selling it.
Yeah,
right.
that is exactly probably what happened.
But then probably what happened was they ran out. Couldn't get it renewed for some reason because there was probably a lawsuit and they just lapsed. And you know, once something lapsed, you can't get it back.
Yep.
That's why you have a lot of times, like anytime you get like a band that releases like a box set of demos and stuff, the reason those are coming out at that point usually is because the record company's like, hey, if we don't publish them on an album, we lose the copyright to them. They become public domain. So no, there's a Bob Dylan album literally called The Copyright Extension Collection, which is just them releasing shit because like, hey, we're just publishing this so we keep the copyright.
That's it's the way that is with a lot of TV shows too. That's
it.
one of the reasons why it took so long for them to get like the Batman TV show, like the Adam West show on DVD. It's why Rugrats took forever to get on DVD.
You know, legal rights are a fucking bane of everything's existence if you're a fan.
It was very interesting how much this movie really holds up, especially like the civil rights stuff that's in it with Ben, who is black, which was probably a big deal for this movie.
I actually did look on the Wikipedia page about like the casting because I didn't know if like if it was like a conceptual thing of like having Ben as a black guy, as a African American. Turns out. The guy who they did a bunch of auditions, and that guy, I forget his name, David, I think, but he was the best one. He was also a former professor as well.
Oh, really?
Was he really?
Yeah.
No shit.
This is what the Wikipedia page says. Supposedly, he also did theater afterwards and other movies. So this guy, he was just the right guy for the job, and he did great. He was a great actor.
He's fantastic in this movie.
Yeah.
Every time he's on screen, man, like you're just captivated by him.
It was like you know, when you first pop this movie and you think it's about Barbara, but then Barbara spends the entire movie just more or less crazy after her brother gets killed.
Traumatized.
Yeah, traumatized.
And that's a trait with all the Romero movies. It's just that you have these very flat female characters.
Yeah, he's not very good at writing women.
Yeah.
Like that's why in Dawn of the Dead, the one woman is pregnant for most of the film, so she can't really do anything.
But even the civil rights issue, I also thought like the Cold War. Well,
the Cold War
lot
stuff.
of Cold War paranoia.
The relations between media and government and the populace, like it's actually not as, even though it's a zombie movie, it's not just a zombie movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of satire and like talking about political, like the scene where like the general and some of the scientists are coming out of the meeting and. The general's like, I don't want to state that it could be radiation.
Right, but the one professor...
Well, the one scientist is like, no, it really is, and we need to do something about it.
And he's like, we thought we'll talk about this later with more investigations.
Yeah, like, which the scientist is like, no, we don't need to investigate anymore, we know what's going on.
But you know what's even better is that it does all these things with, these, societal and political issues without being heavy-handed. It's not... it's not with the civil rights issue, with question of race, you don't, of course, get direct racism, but you still get the implications with how Ben reacts with Cooper and how Cooper is trying to take control.
It just feels organic. It doesn't feel forced.
Exactly. It's not like an after-school special.
Well, it is about race. I think it also that scene you talked about with the military guy. And it also is the bigger issue in the film. Is that it's not the zombies that are the problem. It's the fact that we keep fighting each other about what we should do instead of actually like trying to solve the problem.
Exactly. That's, I would say, the central theme of that film.
Yeah, like Cooper, like you said, he's like a bunch of them knocked our car over, even though like. You see in the film, like the zombies do not nearly have the strength to do that.
Unless they're in mass.
Yeah, unless they're in mass. But like even then, like they're not nearly, in my opinion, coordinated enough to do that. Like
right, but of course he to me represents like he's the symbol of fear and distrust.
And paranoia.
Paranoia,
I would
where
definitely
like
say.
even though like, he may have some good comments, like oh, there's too many windows and they're getting, he is still more about not finding a solution. It's like no, let's just stay whole up here and that's it, and that's all I care about. Like he's very narrow-minded. So, and of course Ben, I would say he is the most capable. Like well, I think he's the most capable.
Yeah.
And he's the one who's trying to be most resourceful. So, but he struggles with finding unity. Like even like the other people, they're still like with Barbara. He's trying to help Barbara get Barbara to help him, but she's traumatized. Which I would say that's why the film's great. There's layers to it. Like it's not so simple. It's not so heavy-handed. So yeah, there's a lot to dissect here.
Aside from like the nuclear. Can we like talk about how
the radiation
radiation thing with the zombies?
Yeah, it's
but
God, the worst part is that's not even the craziest shit I've seen in movies from this, because I've seen a lot of B and C level films from this era. Bro, some of the shit I've seen is just like, you guys have no clue how this
I've seen
works.
Mystery Science Theater, like the crawling.
Like, nobody had any clue how this shit worked.
Yeah.
But it's right up there with how in the 50s they made uranium plates and shit.
Well, and to be fair,
it's like, what the fuck,
well, to be
guys?
fair, that's also because it's this thing I think I've talked about the Atomic Cafe.
Yeah.
Where basically the government did not want people knowing what radiation did to, because we had known what radiation does.
No, we did. I as a history guy, I'm well aware of that.
But for a long time, people just thought it did whatever.
Right.
That's why a lot of people weren't really afraid of it. Why people made stuff out of uranium.
Like
that's the crazy thing now, is that like that uranium glassware and shit.
Yeah.
Right.
That's worth a shit ton of money if you got it. I'm just like, why would you want that in your house?
Yeah. Like I remember,
it's cool and all, but it's like, what the fuck?
Just putting a lead safe.
There's actually there's a video Markiplier did where his girlfriend brought up this uranium cup. And he had a Geiger meter, and he's measuring and like you can hear the Geiger meter like just clicking, and I'm like, why are you touching that? What, you are going to get cancer.
Wait, before Colin, are you telling me you wouldn't want something from Chernobyl if you could keep it safely?
Fuck no, dude.
Safely?
Hell no.
Hell no.
Here's a piece of the elephant trunk.
Oh, hell no.
No, I like not having tumors in my body, Doug.
I'm not interested.
It's a safe, a lead safe that's very thick.
Even that I wouldn't feel comfortable.
It's like taking something from a haunted house, man. I don't feel comfortable.
No, I agree. I wouldn't either, but I just wanted to see.
Not only is it a comfort issue, it's just keeping myself safe.
But like, basically, they sent a probe to Venus.
Yeah.
The probe brought something back that was radioactive, and I think implies they blew up the probe, but like it got too close to the atmosphere, so the radiation leaked down. Basically, anything that's dead, well, at least human. We never see like animals revive.
Or also recently dead, like
recently dead. Which actually, there's a very subtle thing about like the probe exploding, because when Barbara and her brother are actually in the grave,
right,
or at the graves, you can actually hear thunder, but there's no clouds or rain.
I was thinking that was a weird shot. Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's not clouds. That's the satellite blowing up in atmosphere.
Damn.
That's like implying that like the satellite is blowing up just
and
then.
That explains also why, like, in that time, like, it wasn't just the area of Pennsylvania. They said it was like in the Midwest.
Yeah.
Like anything between the Mississippi and the seaboard.
The eastern seaboard.
Yeah. So that.
Yeah, you can actually hear the satellite blowing up.
Damn.
Well,
I noticed that.
It's actually a very subtle thing.
And it is. There's a lot of influence in this movie on a lot of other stuff that, like, I just realized this recently, and like thinking about stuff for this review was that and I'm sure Doug will back me up on this, but just the news reports and how they handle things.
Yeah.
Yes.
My favorite being the guy who's telling them how to kill the zombies, and he's just flat out like, you gotta shoot them in the head, you gotta burn them, you gotta cremate them.
These dubious ceremonies.
You know what recent thing does something like that? It reminds me of it.
What?
Fallout 4.
Really?
The intro where they're talking about the nuke in Pennsylvania that went off.
Oh, you mean with the
TV?
Yeah.
That's got to be a reference to
that. Especially because they mentioned Pennsylvania. I'm like, that has to be a reference.
I would not.
Especially given how American Americana Fallout stuff is with 50s and everything.
Oh yeah, that's definitely.
And of course, actually in the movie they use the terms not zombies but ghouls.
Yeah, because they never call. Because Romero, I don't think, has ever called them zombies in any of his movies.
Right.
Like, that was not a term coined by him. That was a term...
I heard him mention zombies in the Call-Out thing in Call of Duty, that DLC.
Actually, no,
and I was like, what the fuck? You actually said it?
Zombies are actually older than Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, I know.
Because you want to know what the first zombies were?
It was a voodoo thing. It's a voodoo thing, I know.
Oh, I was going to say Smurfs.
Oh.
No, it's in real life, it's actually a voodoo thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're actually...
White Zombie. The movie, not the band.
But yeah, one of the earliest forms of zombies in media was not just Frankenstein, but the Smurfs. Yeah, there are zombie Smurfs.
What?
They turn purple. Yeah, they get this infection and it turns them purple.
I thought they turned to Pikmin.
It's actually kind of like Pikmin.
So, also, again, just kind of touching on this White Zombie.
Oh,
Yeah, with because isn't Bela Lugosi in that?
Yeah.
Oh,
That's another public domain movie.
Right.
But
which also makes sense because like the original zombie was not like undead people; they were like
they're just people in like a trance almost.
Yeah.
Right. So it's
people they do think is that they're in trances as they're ripping people apart.
Right.
Yeah, like the news things are actually interesting to me because like they're so emotionless and like which is kind of interesting how they act like they're talking heads in this, which for the time I think was kind of ingenious about the news because like there is this weird thing where like newscasters will just talk about these horrific things and they just are completely stone-faced about it, which I don't think is like them doing it on purpose. It's just they have to tell the story regardless of how horrible it is. Which I want to say, this came out after JFK too, right?
This was 69.
Yeah.
So this was years after JFK. It was closer to Bobby Kennedy getting killed.
I wouldn't say. I was more trying to say that's probably because, like, if you've ever seen the newscasters when they talk about the death of JFK, it's very weird seeing like them being like, the president has been shot. It's just so almost robotic.
I would say robotic. I would say restrained.
Yeah, restrained. That it's very unsettling when like the news people talk like that.
They don't do it like they did when the Hindenburg blew up.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this will be a
tragedy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing that really got with me with this film is like I didn't notice how expressionistic like the lighting is. Like it's like something that came from like German films in the 1920s, like that weird strong contrast of light and dark, which you can kind of see in like Batman Return with Gotham.
Well, and just to go along with that as well, like the choice of camera.
Oh yeah, like when the zombie's trying to break through Barbara's glass,
right,
of her car, or the scene at the end where the woman's child comes back to life and murders her. No, that trowel scene, I was like,
that was the most violent thing.
Oh my god, that was horrifying to sit through.
Imagine like in 1969, you saw
seeing that at a drive-through. It was like, holy fuck.
No, imagine seeing
like hearing that coming through your speakers. It's like, what the
Especially
fuck?
that effect they do to her voice as she's screaming. I'm like,
and the music, dude. The music, like of course, he had like the usual like very bombastic like heightening, but like in the beginning, that weird like minimalistic, but whatever that like electronic drone, and then the scene with the girl killing the mother. There was like a weird it wasn't like dramatic psycho music. It was very subtle but very eerie and like pulsing. Like it really creates an eerie mood.
The one thing that got me was when Barbara finds the woman that was murdered up in the stairs with her face torn off, which is funny because when Ben drags her body away...
That's a famous shot, because remember, Cinemassacre used that for quite a few things.
That's actually also the scene that they use, I think, in reference to the first zombie you see in Resident Evil when he's...
Yeah,
when he's eating the face.
Dang.
But it's funny, when he's dragging her body weight, you can actually see the next shot. It just shows her regular face. They don't have, makeup to make her look like she's had her face torn off, so you can see the lady's face for, a second.
Dang.
Apparently there's also a shot where you can see one of the camera guys when Ben's scaring the ghouls off.
Right. Oh,
you can actually see the guy and he's just standing there what should I be doing here, guys?
It's
a professional film.
Well, to be fair, it was done on a very low budget.
But for that, it's great though.
This movie actually does do speaking of zombies, it establishes a lot of the fact that the only way to really kill the zombie is to destroy the brain,
right, or set them on fire,
but which I feel like they took that straight from Frankenstein, the fire fear.
Definitely, especially how the guy,
especially because they instantly Argh!
Actually, the first zombie, he was very Frankensteinish. how he looked and how he like moved, like kind of
Yeah.
like Boris Karloff, but a bit more animated. Like he definitely, you could definitely tell that was.
It was very, which is kind of funny because these zombies really don't look like zombies. Like they're not like nearly as decayed.
Some of their faces, like the one where the woman has like half her face,
Yeah.
like
I mean, some of them had like cuts and gashes, but like a lot of them, like
that's skeletal.
yeah, like the dude, the first zombie, like he clearly came out of a grave because he's like
Yeah.
he's wearing like the suit that he was buried in.
Oh yeah, I didn't think
Like
of
and
that.
like you can see like tears coming off it.
Right.
It's kind of funny how much they talk. Like, you know, this is the first zombie movie. There's not really a lot of zombies. There's like what, maybe 40 or 50, at least that you see.
Yeah.
Like there's clearly a lot more, judging by like the radio and the news.
Right.
But
even then, it's like as we were saying, it's not that zombie. It's not like the zombies themselves are the focus of like.
Yeah.
It's definitely a character piece.
yeah,
Right.
very much, especially with the characters we have, like the young couple that gets killed with the fire, and then their bodies get ripped apart.
Okay,
by the
guys, say
zombies.
something about that scene. Now, okay, in the video we did just before about the doing stupid things in films to progress the plot. Oh, look, I give this movie like a lot of what has happened. I would say is reasonable, realistic. The guy Tom, the guy of the couple, when he grabs that like pump and he just fucking squirts on the car. It's like
Yeah.
I mean, unless the pumps were different back then.
I think that was because to be fair, like
Maybe
so,
this-
pumps were not nearly as easy to use as they are now. I think is the kind of what they're implying there because they're not
Maybe.
actually like trained to use it.
Maybe
Like,
yeah. Actually, didn't they have like pump people before?
Yeah, my dad used to do that back in the 70s. That was
Maybe-
actually a job.
So maybe that's more of a thing. I just
there were people. There are
that-
people nowadays that don't know how to pump gas.
well, and to be fair, that was a gas pump used for farmers. My dad actually has gas tanks down there, and I would not feel comfortable using them because you have to like, first of all, you have to go to like this power box we have, and you have to turn the power. Like, I would not feel comfortable using
Right,
them
so
yeah. So
maybe
I can kind of see what I.
maybe the handle was also like maybe more like
Yeah.
if you touch it, it'll just spray.
Yeah,
everywhere.
like it might have been like he expected it to have more, you need more pressure to squeeze.
Maybe.
So there's a lot of,
And he could have been like once again in the moment scared, which I'll be fine. But it just, I guess, yeah. If it's not for those reasons, it is like something. If it happened in a modern movie, it would be like, come
yeah,
on.
no. And to be fair, like,
I'll give it benefit of the doubt for that.
to be fair, I give it like I give less him and more his girlfriend. That like she decided to just go with them,
Which I think,
which is what causes him to die because she like gets stuck in the truck or
yeah,
something.
it's like get out of the car. But once again, I know here's the thing. I will defend Barbara in the sense of I'm not saying it's like she's a great. I do think it is kind of course, sexist, and there are some sexist things like when Barbara is kind of not like getting like really upset with Ben. He just slaps her and then she faints. That's like ooh, old school sexism.
It's like some honeymooners type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, I do think that I think her character, not because of her gender, just as a person, I would say there would be a lot of people in her condition where something.
Well, she's in a state of shock.
Right, so I think that
State
is.
of shock.
What about sack shock?
But
no, it's. I think that that's. I would say I do feel a character like that is needed for a film like this to show that not everybody's going to do well in a catastrophe.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then I think it's supposed to show like what can happen to people where trauma, like even like especially during a very traumatic situation such as this,
Yeah.
can cause you to almost have like a snap,
Yeah. Yeah.
which what happens to her. Because like every person in the movie like represents how people react. Like
Right.
with Ben, he's like, we've got to try and get a grasp on the situation and try to figure out what our next move is.
Right.
With Mr. Cooper, it's we should just stay in one place. We'll be safe as long as we do this.
Exactly.
And then you have Tom, who's trying to keep everyone together.
Right. Mediate the extremes.
Yeah, he's trying to make it so that like, because he realizes we all need to work together to pitch in.
Right.
And then you have like his girlfriend who's trying to stay positive, where he's like, "You always have a smile. Don't you see what's going on here?"
Right. And then you have you have Helena who she of course
Thank you for remembering their names, by the way. I didn't know any of their names was I was watching this because they don't really use their names.
I did actually finish the last 30 minutes before it came, so But Helena, the mother, of course, she's like, Cooper, stop being an asshole. But
Yeah.
of course, she's like, well, what about my child? Which is also Cooper's like, it's fine to worry about this stuff, but I gotta be more defensive because of my kids. So it's not like they're being.
They have motivation.
Well, to be fair, Helena, I think, is a little bit better because, like,
oh, definitely.
while she's trying to look after her kids, she's also trying to get everyone to, like, go to the medical center that's like the safe haven.
Oh, actually, she's like, Cooper, they have TV, let's go up there.
Yeah, she's like, I get trying to stay safe to protect her, but like she's very sick,
Right.
because she got, I think, grabbed. I don't like because this isn't like the whole you get bit, because like here the zombies aren't carrying an infection. It's just
Radiation.
well, yeah, like if you die, like the radiation revives you, which. That was weird.
Well, it's this is also the age of Silver Age comics, where they have a lot of stories of like the Fantastic Four. Gamma radiation gives them.
No, I know. Gamma radiation is bullshit. I get that. It's just me trying to like. Because the thing in Dawn of the Dead, it's just a virus. But,
well, yeah, which makes more sense, like biologically.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? What did you guys think about the stuff with the police, and like the guys rounding up everything? What was your take on that?
I almost wonder if because the anti-cop attitude was pretty prevalent around this time, just because of all the protests and stuff going on.
Right.
So I almost wonder if they tried to portray the police as being like kind of like bumbling, like Andy Fife type characters, just as like a. Like kind of like maybe like to kind of go hand in hand with the civil rights stuff. Maybe it was like a social commentary,
especially after they kill Ben. They all pick up like in the very end credits. You see them picking up hooks, which I'm like,
yeah. Here's the thing about
like the Klan.
See, okay, thank you for. I thought there was some weird I didn't know it was intentional or not.
I think that was supposed to be something in reference to the Klan.
And they burn bodies, which I know.
Which, to be fair, is a reference to like the plague, because that was.
That's true. But here's the thing, too, is that, okay, if we're supposed to take that last shot of Ben when he's coming out and the cops see him, even though he's moving slowly, you see what is a gun, obviously.
Yeah.
And as we see with the zombies, they have some intelligence, like they pick up stuff, but they don't aim and know how to use guns.
Yeah.
So it's obvious, like, it seemed like that there maybe was like, oh, look at them shooting first and asking questions later instead of, scouting out for survivors.
I think a lot of that, and also because I think that they kind of try to imply that they don't see the gun.
Right.
They just see the person standing there, and because they saw nothing but ghouls.
That could be true too, though.
Like I think to them that's like in the narrative of the film, they're just like, oh, there's another one, Billy Bob, just shoot him right in the eyes.
Which is, even though, I guess
which, especially because there's an interesting thing, because, like, he hears all the shots and stuff, and he doesn't call out, be like, hey,
why?
I'm not a zombie.
Actually, that is a good question,
But I think a lot of it is because it's supposed to be like, he's like, I know what's going to happen. They're going to kill me just because of my skin.
You know what? That is true. And that maybe makes more sense why they portray, like, a lot. It's not even cops. They're, like, militiamen. Like,
yeah, they're like, like, some of them are cops. Some of them are just hunters and stuff.
Yeah. And, of course, I'm not saying that, that it's, like, I wouldn't say it's obvious 100%.
No. That was just what I mean.
But it is, of course, showing, like, once again, this show, it's subtle. Like, even if these guys are, helping trying to get rid of the zombies.
Yeah, they're...
What about, these people with power? How are they using it?
And like you said, it's just they're shooting first, asking questions later.
Right.
They're not even trying to search for survivors.
Exactly.
They're just like, anything out here? Zombie.
And even with like the video, like the movie, the TV guy, talking about just burn the body.
Yeah.
Maybe that could make them think why trust anybody even if they are fine.
Even if they say they're fine, how do we actually know?
Yeah. Right. They're which is kind of an interesting thing with Romero. Like he never portrays official. Like everyone has like that tries to look at it as not they're not humans.
Right.
It's like they're robotic and they're like they're trying like they're so robotic about it. Like they're mechanically just killing without assessing the situation.
Right.
Which I think is a lot of it. But like, because like they're just they see all these ghouls, so they just kill them.
Right.
They're like, and like going back to the science guy, he's just like, no, we're not doing a ritual to like help the people pass on. This
Right.
is just, you have to destroy the body,
Right.
or else it's just going to get worse. You have to kill anything that, like, you have to destroy the body the moment the person dies. You only have, like, minutes.
Is Night of the Living Dead in continuity with Dawn of the Dead and Day
Here's
of the
the
Dead?
thing, because James touched on this in his Cinemassacre review of these. There's not really
Yeah.
a continuity, but there kind of is. There's not really any characters that appear from movie to movie.
Yeah.
I mean, there's references to stuff here and there.
But it's the same
It's
world.
a very loose, like, run and gun style continuity.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like all these are certainly in one world. They like
Yeah,
it's
because I want to
fast and
say,
loose.
Dawn references
they
events
try
in
to-
Pennsylvania, but like,
I think they try. It is implied they're all in the same verse, but it's at different points.
And also, I imagine they change things up, like it's a virus of radiation.
yeah,
Because you ever seen Land of the Dead or
I
Day
have.
of the Dead? Day of the Dead.
yeah.
I've never seen Day of the
bits of
Dead. I've
Day.
seen Night, Dawn, and Land. Those are the only three.
Well, to be fair, Day like technically is a dream.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know.
maybe
that.
not Day. No, I'm thinking of Land. Land is a dream.
Okay, because Day of the Dead is the one that's on the Caribbean island,
Yeah.
or not Caribbean, but some sort of tropical area.
And I remember nothing about Land of the Dead either.
No,
I don't either. I saw that film. Other than the
I've
zombies,
watched it. I remember a scene where, like, they go out scavenging. This guy gets bit, and the zombie's underneath the table, and it's like munching on his fucking skin or some
Yeah.
shit. And
And
I'm
I
like,
guess-
that's the only thing I remember about that whole movie.
And like I do remember like the one scene, like the one rich guy, like I guess he killed himself because the zombies got through or something.
Yeah.
And then I guess zombies were starting to like get some intelligence, like using guns or that's all I remember. I don't remember about the characters or
Yeah.
which of course is different from this film where
Yeah. No.
The
Like,
characters
well,
are-
especially because that's the like all you know is the characters, because like everything, like, because they're so isolated. That's the only thing that you really can take away from it.
right.
I think we can kind of wrap up.
Wait, I have one last question, and it's kind of interesting. So as I was watching the end of it today, what's your opinion about the whole thing of Cooper versus Ben's ideas of how to defend the house? Because, of course, I think everybody, watching would think, well, of course, Ben has it right. I mean, you would be just holed up, and you don't know if they'll cave in, and you have nowhere to run. But at the end, that's what Ben does. He
Yeah.
holds up and survives the night by going to the cellar.
To be fair, at that point, Ben is the only one alive, so that's probably your best bet. I think that the film is trying to tell you is that there is no right way. What they needed to do was they needed to work together. Because, like, up until the truck blows up, I think they actually were doing all right because they were working together.
Right.
Cooper launching the Molotovs so they can get to the truck, although he throws the Molotovs right next to the truck. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's really helpful.
Right.
But, like, Cooper and Tom try to, get to the gas pump so they can fill up with gas and they can get to safety. But the problem is, like, neither one of them is right. I think the whole idea that is they needed to stop fighting with each other and solve the problem was the message there.
Because I think you even have a point. Like, even though Ben, who is, of course, the most, I would say, he's the hero of the film. Like, he's the most resourceful. He has, he knows what to do. He's the most calm. But at the end, he he tries to get back in the house after the truck blows up.
Yeah.
Cooper tried to lock him out. Like,
Yeah.
and then even though, of course, anybody would be pissed, he decides, like, because Cooper takes the gun and Ben gets the gun. Ben's like, no, he just shoots he shoots Cooper, which is like, whoa, it's
Yeah.
so Ben, of course, is instead of working together, he's like
and
he's
they end
dividing
up,
still.
Yeah, which is when the zombies break in finally.
So of course, I think you're right. Like, it shows that no matter how well formed or planned or how much you try, there is a chance that things will go wrong.
It's like with Dawn of the Dead when the bikers come in and
A lot of it is you just get lucky,
Yeah.
That
or you're unlucky.
because Ben could have survived that if they didn't came by.
Yeah.
But
Well, like, it's like with Dawn of the Dead with the bikers when that's what caught, like, because, like, basically the film there, it's about them just living in that place instead of trying to find somewhere that would actually sustain them. Like, they get bored and such. And then those bikers come in and wreck their safe place.
yeah,
Like, the idea is that, like here it's about the paranoia will eventually destroy you.
right.
And if you, unless you can overcome it and work together, it's going to end up destroying you.
Right.
Which it does.
And not just that, but even then, like, of course, with the daughter.
Yeah.
You know, I think one of the things about that, with her becoming a zombie or a ghoul, that just shows that no matter how much you try to, because even, like, imagine if they all went to the basement or cellar,
Yeah.
and she becomes a zombie,
Yeah.
would they have been able to all decide we have to kill her? Because,
No.
of course, Cooper and Helena wouldn't.
No.
And
exactly.
I don't even think the others would really want to, but they wouldn't know either. Like, so it just shows that there's always chaos in any situation. There's no guarantee of safety in anything, really.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, like I said, I think this movie has a lot of really great messages like that. We might as well wrap this up because I didn't want this to be super long.
Yeah.
What are you guys' rating of this movie?
I guess I'll go first. I haven't really talked a lot during this. I feel bad because it's just I hold this movie in a lot of high regard, but there's been so much said about it over the years, like via like film critics or just people talking about it and it being referenced and stuff. That I don't know. I didn't feel like there was a lot I could add, you know. But excuse me. My rating is I would give this a solid 9 out of 10. Like I said, it's an enjoyable movie. I enjoy it. I enjoy the influence it's had on a lot of stuff, like especially like spotting it. Kind of like how I mentioned how you can spot that kind of influence with like Fallout. You know, something that is like so like opposite ends of the spectrum, but there's that link. You know,
Right.
But overall, I enjoy the movie. To the point that it's like I think it's scary enough. I wouldn't watch it at my house alone at night.
No,
Yeah.
I would not. That's why I
get,
watched it in the morning.
Yeah, I would get pretty freaked out.
Right.
I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. I think Dawn is a little bit better just because I think it's more interesting just because you get to see the wider scope of like what this would do. But as a horror film, I think it's actually scarier than Dawn because it's
definitely.
Right.
It's shot more like a horror film than Dawn is.
And I think the size of it, you know, that it takes place at that house. I think it really does well in, you know, it's like it kind of they set the film up to be exactly like how the people in the house feel. You know, you're isolated.
Right.
You're crammed into like a small place.
Claustrophobic.
Yeah, there's a very claustrophobic feeling in the whole film.
Yeah.
You know, like not only just that they're in the house, you know, it's like the zombies are closing in. You know,
Right.
They're coming to get you.
Yeah, it's a claustrophobic feeling, and I think it really it lends itself to the film's atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your rating, Doug?
I guess I'm gonna split the middle 8.5, and I give that because I imagine if I rewatched Dawn of the Dead, I would maybe agree with Adam. Like it's been years since I've seen that, but either way, like I would say this is.
It's been a while. I haven't seen this since college.
And of course, you know, I would say like
College
to
for
me
me too.
I would say like a 9 or 10 are like films that I like are like I would say they're ones that grasp me like much more deeper. But this film I would say is like, you know, even though if not, this film I know is like it's a great film, like great horror film, great film in general, great characterization, dialogue, world building, especially with the use of like the radio and the television to help explain things instead of having all exposition, the first shot, the lighting, the action, like especially considering it's A, in the 60s and B, independent. So I would say this is a cinematic masterpiece. So I would definitely would put it up high at, you know, like 8.5 would be my rating for that.
Yeah.
Oh, and that also the acting was pretty good too. Even if it like I thought like the couple, the guy of the couple, I kind of like it's like the like kind of like the usual 60s acting of like not like too campy or cheesy, but kind of like, you know, not still as organic, but even though like I would still say like, you know, it was still pretty good for that.
Yeah. But anyway, guys, I think that wraps this up. Join us next week when we look at even more horror films. But until then, guys, I'm Zongetsu134.
I'm Average Joe Squad.
I'm just Raleigh 94.
And as always, we ask you to remember the hyphen and take care.